came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was boring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I'll always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and a feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but when knowledge to gain show. Sticking at this wrong cause soon will come a bear.
Another red day in the market. I shared with you last week that it was looking like there would be more pain this December, and I'm not sure that it's over yet, but it is going to be over soon enough, which may not be until later January. Though our emotions often lead us astray in crypto, I do listen to them. I just don't usually do what they're telling me to do. So take a second, if you will, and listen to probably what you're feeling right now. 2 weeks ago, there was a feeling that this market was going to head into a record-breaking December. There was some data that suggested that it might be a parabolic breakout, but it wasn't the case. Now, we were also had contrasting data that maybe there would be this elongated cycle, and it looks like that's exactly the direction it has been going. Now, 2 weeks ago, though, with all that bullishness that was going on, there was a massive amount of leveraged longs in Bitcoin and also some leveraged longs on altcoins. And there is an old saying that says the market will take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And if you're new in crypto, you've just seen this. And I've been in crypto for a while now. I've seen this play out many times over. But let me share with you a secret. If you aren't leveraged and you don't sell, then and the market does exactly this, these temporary pullbacks really don't even hurt you. You just weather through them like a ship at sea. You batten down the hatches and you let the storm play itself out. Now, if you're lucky and you have some additional capital on the sidelines, this is exactly when I like to deploy it. Now, if you're new in crypto and you start to get that visceral feel, or you're starting to get a visceral feel for what it is like trying to actually make life-changing gains through crypto, and why so many people won't do it, because they can't be patient through these feelings when the market has a pullback, even when it's just temporary like this, because they have a feeling that this is permanent. Let me share with you a tweet that did not age well, and this comes, one of our viewers shared this, and I put it in, wanted to share it with all of you because I thought it was too good, too perfect to summarize the sentiments that have been going on. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter already, it's at CryptoRainn with 2 N's, at CryptoRainn. All right, so let's take a look at this. Well, says Thomas Randolph, Bitcoin has stabilized at almost exactly $14 a coin. I'm tired of waiting for a jump, so I am taking the loss and I'm getting my cash back. Well, that didn't really age well, did it? But doesn't that summarize what it can feel like sometimes? And you see exactly why making it rich and life-changing wealth through crypto just isn't right for so many people. Let me check. I am running this solo without D-Money. He's there taking care of his family. Some of them came down with the virus. And so he's taking some time to make sure they're doing good, but like he's totally immune. He hasn't gotten it. If he comes down with it too, he might be gone a little bit longer. So our prayers are with him and his family. They seem to be doing really well. His kids doing well. His wife, it's hit her harder, but she's doing good and at home. So let me see what we got. Okay, looks like chat's coming through. Yes, if only I had more extra money on the side, says Maxwell. Absolutely. That's often a problem because we deploy the capital and it gets cheaper and we deploy it and then it gets even cheaper and we're out of capital to deploy. So it's frequently something that happens. Now, I did want to walk you through my thoughts today on this pullback and on this bear market and what is still ahead of us. Welcome to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Rainn, and if you like money in crypto and are looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video, for starters, and subscribing with that all notifications bell enabled. Now, special note, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like. I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I simply don't cover cryptos that I don't like the team or I don't believe in. So there you have it. Now, thank you to the audience for helping grow this channel. Smash those likes so we can keep growing. For whatever reason, YouTube is like not sharing our video out. You can override that by smashing the likes. I greatly appreciate it if you could. I would love to get... My goal is not to be the biggest channel in this. In fact, we would lose some of our potential to be like Navy SEALs of crypto if we get to like millions. But I would like to get to 100 or 200,000 total subscribers this bull market. And we still have plenty of bull market left, trust me on that. And 100 to 200,000 subscribers would be able to get many great sponsors, many great giveaways that I can offer to supplement your bags. So help us get there by always smashing that like button, starting with today. Now, if you're in the live stream, you have to like exit out of the chat, smash that like, and then open the chat back in. We are building the most informed audience in crypto. Think of Rainmakers as the Navy SEALs of crypto, and if we nail this, it should also become the wealthiest audience in crypto. Part of becoming the most informed audience is we have to set emotions aside and always be willing to take a deeper look. Now, thanks to our sponsor with Vechain, we do give away 125 Vechain each week. Thank you to them for that. And when we cross 25,000 subscribers, we're going to start giving away our 401Js. We invested some money into some IDOs that you weren't able to get into, and we'll be giving those away. We call those tokens 401Js, and we'll be giving them away to 10 lucky winners once we cross 25,000 total subscriber mark. I think we're at like 21.5 right now. Now, Cortex and Federa are the two projects specifically. Now, I know many of you in the audience that are worrying right now that this pullback does spell the end of the bull run. Let me see in the comments who's feeling like that. And it's okay. Look, always listen to our emotions. I just don't do what they say, but I always try to actually let them run so that I can listen to what they're telling me. I just don't normally do what they're telling me to do. So I'd love to see, I know there's a little bit of delay, would love to see who's feeling like, and I use the word feeling like this, possibly this bull market is over and that we're in for this longer bear market. All right. Colossus Titan is, I'm completely bullish. Nah, just bought more ADA. I like it, you guys. Smart. Yes. There's a lot of evidence to suggest we're just having lengthening cycles. And so this December did not play out like 2017's December and like 2013's November. Not at all. In fact, it's been pulling back. But I'm going to share with you, just bought more Freeway token. Nick Scott says, I'm good. I'm feeling the FUD, Rainmakers. Martin, it's totally cool and it's totally normal to be feeling the FUD. In fact, this is why this stuff works so well. And so, you know, if you talk to Paul and you tell him about my investment thesis, he's like, oh, you're a contrarian trader, which makes sense, right? So, I mean, it really comes down to my mentor who was a real estate investor that was worth $200 million. And I thought that was a lot of money because it is. I mean, some of these billionaires make that look small, but $200 million, totally self-made. He didn't have any inherited wealth. And he basically said that he finds out what 95% of people are doing and he does the opposite. Essentially in business and investment, that has worked out tremendously for him. And that's kind of what we do in crypto, right? So right now there's a bunch of people panicking, but why are they really panicking? I mean, what are the whales doing? What are the informed money people doing? And you know what? Informed money is buying more. So who is it that's panicking and selling? Well, it's informed money trying to convey stories that panic the market so that they sell. I'll give you an example. There was a story recently from India that they were going to be banning Bitcoin. And this was like the 9th time that story is run. And I was like, I don't know India politics. Maybe they are going to ban it this time. And so I was talking to somebody from India, and they said, no, they were just discussing the different regulations they were going to be putting into place. They weren't discussing banning it, but who knows? Like I don't speak the native language. Part of the native language is English, but there's a lot of people in India that don't speak any English. And so I don't know what's going on in their local politics on that. And so we just have to okay, take at face value what these stories say. And sometimes they're completely misleading. And they're purposely running these stories to induce FUD in the people that don't have the connections to know what's really going on in local India, right? And it works, and it panics people. Why do they do it? Well, because they're taking the other side of those longs. They're taking the short positions, and they can't take short positions and make money if there's nobody that's long. And so what they're doing is they're taking the money that's out there. Now, this is one of the reasons why I don't endorse doing leverage in crypto. It's the greatest way to lose money in the middle of a longer bull market, because even in a longer bull market, you do have these pullbacks, and they can devastate you when you're long. Now, some people are very worried because Bitcoin is getting close to the 200-day moving average. Yeah, and if it blows below, we could go all the way down to 42K. That is possible. It's also possible that this is the end of the bull run. But I don't believe it is. I don't even believe it's close. And I'm going to show you why I don't believe it. Number one, does inflation hurt or help Bitcoin's price? It helps it, right? And what's going on in the world today? Is there a lot of inflation going on? Oh, yes, winner, winner. We have a lot of inflation going on. In fact, far more than is being admitted. They're even playing games in the U.S., right, about so they can measure exactly what the inflation is. They didn't do that. They actually did this kind of survey. Why? Because using the survey, they could actually make the inflation numbers look lower than they are. So Bitcoin and real estate are what's called hard assets, and hard assets tend to appreciate, or at least compared to the dollar, do very, very well when inflation is going crazy. And so with inflation running rampant, that would lead to this market being even stronger than the previous bull run. Number two, is tech from crypto continuing to change the world? Absolutely, right? And you're seeing that. So that doesn't mean that there'll be a bull run for forever. But why would we get a shortcutted bull run when these two things are going our direction? Number three is Bitcoin's adoption and continuing to increase in exponential pace. It is, isn't it? Yeah, so now number four on this, have we hit a blow off top yet? We did have pretty good run in March. It wasn't like a blow off top, but we did have some rolling hills there, and it went from broke up over 20,000, went all the way to 65,000, then down. Okay, so Bitcoin did a 3x, but I don't think this is over at all. Now, if there weren't these kind of emotional roller coasters to shake out those who aren't tenacious enough to hold on, then there wouldn't be the kind of money that can be made here, because everyone could do it. And these gains would be so much smaller. But know that if you're here as rainmakers, you're training to be the Navy SEALs of the crypto world. And what does it take to be Navy SEALs? It takes tenacity. So what does a rainmaker even mean? It's one who makes the rain, right? A huge part of making it rain into your financial future is understanding the weather patterns and how to read them, understand them, and most importantly, to benefit from them. Now, just because I think the bear market isn't here yet, it doesn't mean it's not coming. But remember, when does the bear market actually hit us? When it can take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And so what if this market played out exactly like this? What if about mid-January the market starts picking up, then the momentum builds into a really strong parabolic market. Millions of new people come into this space expecting that it's just going to keep going up. Now that sounds like the right recipe for when this is all going to end, especially if the crash coincides with a crash in the stock market. And what if that is all coming for us sometime around August? Now, it is going to be a bumpy ride, and I'm human too, so I like to find ways where I can make some money even when the market is going sideways like this or downwards. And let me show you again. I know some of my long-term followers have seen this before, but let me share with you again one of those ways in our video today. Before I do get into that, let me pull up a few data points I wanted to share. So first of all, that tweet was priceless. I wanted to gauge kind of the tech sector, but specifically I pulled up Tesla's chart here, and let me make sure you can see that. Okay. I've got a few things open at the same time so that I can run this myself. Perfect. So Tesla's chart, you see it. Now, it normally is on logarithmic scale. I didn't want to look at it on logarithmic scale. I think this is going to continue breaking upwards. Now, it's been on a really long run. This is on weekly, and look, we're just going back roughly 2 years. And look how much Tesla has climbed. I mean, it has went from $70 or $50 to $1,200 at the top, and is continuing to climb. My guess. Now, it's having this little pullback like this, and might be a little bit bumpy for a month or two, but my guess is the stock market doesn't come crashing down till August, because all this money printing does benefit stock prices too. But bull runs don't run for forever, and stocks have been running up for about a solid 10 years, and at some point that will come crashing down. Let me share with you these data points, and I've shared this with you a lot lately. This is the Brave New Liquid Coin Index, and we were looking at the distance between the first halving and when the peak of the bull market was, and that was 368 days. Then we were looking at the second one from when the halving was to the peak of the second bull market following a halving, and that was 526 days. So there's a lot of reason to believe that it's going to be about 750 days, which would put us in a bull market with Bitcoin peaking out sometime maybe even May. And just because Bitcoin's peaked, that doesn't mean all coins have peaked. So it looks like we might still be in for a very wild ride ahead, and that's encouraging. Here's another encouraging thing, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. And what did Warren Buffett say that was so right, even though Warren Buffett often gets it wrong on tech stocks, especially on cryptocurrency? He says, when other people get fearful, I get greedy. And when other people get greedy, I get fearful. Might have said it in the reverse order from that. But you get the point. And so when fear is high, that's oftentimes a really good time to buy. But it's when the fewest percentage of people buys. Why? Because we're emotional. And a lot of times when we come into investing, nobody's teaching us to put those emotions to the side and act logically. So we come in making mistakes all the time. Look at this. Let's look back over this past year. And look how low we are, like totally on the fear side, right? So is now a good time to be selling or a good time to be buying? Well, my opinion, for my personal investment, it's a great time to be buying. So that's what I've been doing. Now, let me share with you another thing that I've been doing, because I'm human too. And so these things impact me. Like, I'm emotional. In fact, I thought for most of my life that I was really, really logical, and I realized I just mask a lot of my logic, a lot of my emotion with more logic than other people so that I can think that I'm logical, but I'm emotional too. So one of the things I do is I like little things that make me money, like little games that make me money even when it's going sideways. And this is literally my favorite one to yield farm with, and this is called Zookeeper. Now, it's on Vechain's network, and one of the things I love about Vechain's network is the transaction fees are so low. And the speeds are pretty good. Specifically, I'm only farming in 2 of these pools, though you see you can farm on WASP WAN, you can farm on WAN ETH, WAN USDT, and WAN. Now, if everyone piles into this one, it does decrease my earnings, but if you want to do this, great, because they pay out a certain amount of yield every day, and the more people that are in this pool, you'll see the APR goes down. But feel free to be doing exactly the same things that I'm doing. There's reasons why I like the tool pools that I'm in. Well, I used to be in 3. I used to also be in this Vechain and ETH pool, and the reason I moved over to here is I spent the money to get a really good bonus thing, so it made more sense just to keep it in one pool. But I was also in that pool for a long time because I like that one, and the other one I like is the Zoo Wasp pool. So every day that I harvest, I just throw it into this. I did go ahead and lock this up for, you can see here, 39 days, so I can't pull out. I can pull out the profits, but I can't pull out the liquidity that's staked during that time. But it does augment how much that you're earning in rewards. So let's do a little bit of math because it tells you here. Well, let's do some math here. First of all, right now the total value that I have locked up is 71,272 in this. Now, when I started this January last year, I think I locked up about 20-something thousand total. So the value's grown over time. And for the most part, I've kept reinvesting my returns into this. I have pulled some out. In fact, I think I pulled out about $5,000 during that time. So it's increased. Now, Vechain was cheaper back then, but also the compounding rewards adds up over time. And in this pool, I have 9,400. So if you were to combine these two, let's call it, that's about $80,000. 80,000 liquidity locked up. Now, this is what the rewards are on Zoo every week. And notice that, like, I haven't harvested this in, like, since last night. So I'm also getting a large number of Wasp. But to know what their prices are, we have to go, the easiest way is I go to WanSwap, which this is all related to. I go to their analytics tool, and it will tell me the current price. The Wasp token is currently at 4.3 cents. And Zoo's at 13 cents. So if I were to pull out a calculator, let's look at what kind of passive returns these are. Now, as Vechain goes up, then the value of Wan and Wasp goes up, and I get the appreciation side. So I'm earning some passive income while I'm waiting for things to appreciate. And specifically, I'm going to put this over here so I can bring it back up. Okay, let's look at what. Looks like my screen stopped showing, didn't it? Great. Let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, that's a problem. There is supposed to be a deactivate. Well, it looks like D is not here. I don't know where that deactivate button is. There's a way to deactivate and reactivate it. And maybe D is watching and he'll telegram me. Well, fantastic. Looks like I'm going to cover that another day, and we're going to have more questions and answers today because my screen share is not happening. All right, so I apologize. It's probably been happening for that on the live stream for a little bit. Let me get then to you. I will calculate really quick what those rewards are. 9,649 times, what did it say it was? 13 cents? Said 13 cents. So let's see what those rewards are. And now when Zoo goes up, then those rewards are worth more. And so these rewards do fluctuate, but every day you're able to claim, the fees to claim are so cheap, it really makes it worth it. So it looks like, ooh, I messed that up. Okay. 9,649 times 0.13. So it looks like 1,250 a week. Times that by 4, that's 6,000 just on the Zookeeper rewards. And then there's some on the Wasp rewards as well. So let's call that about 7,000. Not too bad. No, there's 70, what was it, 80,000 locked up in that. So that's pretty good monthly rewards, right? And it gives you some flexibility of what to do with it. Now, at some point, these Zookeeper rewards and the WanSwap rewards go away. That point is somewhere like, I think, a couple of years out still. And these rewards only have value as long as they have value. but I've been doing this for a year and they've continued to have monetary value, people using them. And you can do this in many things on the Ethereum chain, but I'm sure you understand why I don't like yield farming on the Ethereum chain, right? I don't know about you, but I hate paying $125 transaction fees. And even if I were to lock up something like 80 grand on it, still that really cuts into your rewards. And with Zookeeper, I end up paying like a fraction of a penny every time I want to harvest, and those are the types of transaction costs that I'm down with. All right, let me look at what your questions are in here. Been in Zoo and Juan a while now, loving it. Zoo Jeans and Open Zoo will open soon, so stoked. Yes, they did do some NFT sales for Zoo Jeans. We talked about them on the channel, and I got some of those. They look really fun, and they're developing a 3D racing game related to it. And so looking forward to that. Have you heard of Solgenic and their 50% airdrop? I have not. Okay, AG says, if the market extended, when do you think we will peak out? Q2? Q2 or Q3. So, you know, possible Bitcoin peaks in May. That doesn't mean the altcoins will peak away. Remember, the market takes the most amount of money from the most amount of people. So right now we're feeling down. But I want you to take a look back at December, and I would share that with you if I could share my screen, and it would actually get picked up right now. But it looks like that is not happening. So if you look back at July, a lot of what you're feeling now is the same feelings that there were in July. And as you look back into July, what happened after July? Well, everything picked back up and it started running again, right? And so what do I think is going to happen? The same thing. That even might be through mid-January where we're feeling this pain. It kind of trades sideways, maybe down and then up and then down. And then I think we start picking up and we start heading to a positive place. But remember, the fear has to be big enough that it shakes a lot of long people out. I mean, look at that tweet that we covered where Bitcoin went to $14 and how emotional that guy felt. And he's like, peace out, I'm done. You know, I just can't, you know, I've been patient for far too long. Well, shoot, how long could he have been patient for? Because that was 2011. Like, man, if he just held all that Bitcoin that he probably had, if he had $10,000 in Bitcoin, he would be like probably worth $100 million now. But he pieced out, right? Like, how many people are feeling that now? Now, I felt that way along the way, but what I didn't do is I didn't sell. And that's one of the big differences. Like sometimes in the crypto winter, I just went and just totally put crypto to the side for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I decided to start playing some different video games that I thought would be like the video games that I think would be coming to crypto. And I justified it as market research, but part of it was man, you know, it sucks being there in the middle of these emotional crap storms of just bad news every day, and it's normal, right? I'm hoping this community, there's at least people that commiserate with and to buoy each other up, which is part of the reason I created this community, and the Telegram and the Discord, because it's rough. But I also knew that crypto gaming was going to be big and that was heading that way, and we're starting to see that. The crypto gaming is really being big. Back then, though, you could invest in Axie Infinity, but you couldn't even play it. So then it did come out that you could play Axie Infinity. I did try my hand at that. Not my type of game to play, but they've done magical things. Yeah, so let's see. What else are we going? I am doing coin shopping now, says K. Monhardy. Great freaking job. Troy McDrain says coin shopping, yeah, too much. How much freeway token did you accumulate during this dip? Not enough. I'm trying to figure out what to sell to get to more freeway token, but some of my rules is I'm deployed. I don't have a lot of capital on the sides to buy because, well, I'm running the same problem as you guys, and even when you'll find that even when you have millions deployed, sometimes there's nothing you want to sell off 5 or 10 or 20K worth to get something else. So I'll probably make some moves, but most everything is down. Usually what happens is there's a couple things that are up and then other things are down. I mean, I could unstake my Terra Luna, which is up, and then buy a bunch of freeway token, but the unstaking is painful, and part of the reason Terra Luna is up is because they're going to airdrop those who are staked a new project that's launching on it. So then I would miss out on that, and that part wouldn't make sense. So we'll see. I do want a lot more Freeway token. I'm just in the realm of, I think, 4 to 5 million, which isn't near enough. Is that right? 4 to 5 million is all. Yeah, I want a lot more than that, and I'm not there yet. I want more OMI and OMI too. Okay. Where do I sign up for canceling the bear market, right? So you're canceling it by sticking around and staying here. And canceling the bear market is like just not participating in it. Now, you'll be surprised that a lot of your friends or the people that you meet in crypto, they're totally not going to be around here during the bear market. Now, they're going to come back vibrantly in like February, March, April, May. You'll see. They'll all be here again. Who you want to see is really going to do well is the ones that are still there a year to 2 years later. And that's who's likely going to make it rich. And especially those that have made some profits, taken some gains out on the sidelines, and can deploy them when things get really cheap again. Now, I'm going to suggest something, and I don't like to be a naysayer and everything, but I've lived long enough to go through some hard times. And 2008, fair to say, that was some rough times, and depending on what countries you were in, but the whole globe was affected. In fact, I think Greece went like bankrupt, and there were some rough things that happened in 2008, and I think we're heading to something like 2008, maybe even a little bit more severe. But I think that isn't going to start really until the stock market in the U.S. crashes, which I think maybe happens around August or somewhere around there next year. And those that have taken a lot of cash or made a lot of investments, and then they've taken some cash, put it on the sidelines. Cash is king during those types of markets. So when a lot of the cash dries up and the investment dollars dry up. And we'll see, there's plenty of things that politicians can do that could turn that around. They're just not doing the right things that would, so we'll see. Their solution so far has just been print more money. Okay. But eventually that doesn't work. It puts more cash into the system, but then the cash just devalues itself faster than anything else, and so people factor that in, and you lose the power of the money printer. Even though you're printing the money, it doesn't have the same effect anymore. Let's see, what do I think about Syscoin? Let me take a look at it. SYS. Okay, CoinGecko is so overloaded they want me to do a CAPTCHA, so I'm sorry, I'm going to CoinMarketCap. Now Syscoin is looking like 68 cents, down just a little bit. Year to date, okay, so it's making kind of this cup and handle. Might have made a double top though. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just looking at their charts. Our market cap's 425 million. Their fully diluted market cap is only a little over that at 603 million. I like those numbers. Let me click on their website. A couple of you asked about Syscoin. That's why I'm spending the time to look at it. The best of Bitcoin and Ethereum in one place. Build the most secure, reliable, fastest Web3 applications. I haven't heard of them in a while. ZK Rollups is really hitting and becoming a big deal, so that's probably why this is in the narrative. It's unclear whether it's going to break up or break down from here, so I would sit on the sidelines and wait till that was a little bit more clear. Cup and handle usually does retrace back down some before then running off, and that may be all it's doing. I would have to look a little bit closer onto what specifically they have going on with ZK Rollups, because ZK Rollups, there's a lot of technology that's really coming into being that is really, really cool. Let's see, what else do we got? My hidden gem for crypto NFT gaming is Clash of Streamers. I haven't heard of that one. Sounds interesting. Any thoughts on Vechain? It seems that the logistics issue in the news about VET Primetime, but it seems should make VET Primetime. Yeah, right now, Mark Zuckerberg threw a wrench in everything and focused everybody on metaverses and on gaming. And so, like, they just took the limelight, right? So Vet and Zilliqa and Dot probably would have come into focus, and then they haven't. But they probably will. The other thing that's been out of focus is DeFi, and DeFi still needs to have its run. And so, just looking at the time here, since D isn't here to keep track of time for me, yeah. It's been great having him. How has the audience enjoyed having D Money as part of it? Do you like it? Because he is newer to crypto. He's not newer to YouTube and some of the analytics behind it and some other things. And he ran a restaurant successfully for like 15 years and had all kinds of employees. So he's been successful in business. He is only new to crypto as of like about 5 months ago. Got started with VV and then other things in crypto. So he does, sometimes I ask him questions because it helps me remember what it felt like to be new, because it's been 4 years now since I was brand new. Okay. Okay, double. He's telling me how to activate my monitor. Let me go back to that. Deactivate button. For whatever reason, I am not seeing a deactivate button on that, and it may be because I'm using different software to bring it in than he is. Let me see if I see if I can share a different one, see if that works, and maybe I can just share a different screen. Nope, nothing's coming up on it. Oh well. Okay, so we will be screenless the rest of the live stream. That's all right. Cool. Thank you, D. Really appreciate it. I know you're taking care of a sick family. He helped me prep for this too. That was cool of him. So let me look at what else. Dynamic Serb says bullish. Thanks, J, and D Money is. Thanks, Jay. D Money is all right. I like it. D Money's awesome. As are you, Jay. Keep it up, man. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I started this journey just like every one of you did. Now, I guess I'll take some time for those that are newer and don't know my story. Look, I grew up poor. I joke about being too poor for Kool-Aid, but it's only part of a joke. When we'd go to the store once a month with my mom, because she couldn't afford a babysitter, and we were all too little to leave home, so she dragged us all to the store, and at the time there was about 3 kids and then 4 kids, and so we're like bouncing off the walls all over the place and probably driving her crazy. But she would let us get 2 packs of Kool-Aid per month, right? But it wasn't actually Kool-Aid. It was the cheaper off-brand version, Flavor Aid, because we couldn't afford Kool-Aid. And so we got 2 packs that we had to decide when to use for the whole month. And, you know, there's something special about growing up without a lot. It gives you a gift that sometimes people who are handed everything don't have, which is a hunger and a desire for something more. And I guess further from that, my father was in sales, so he kept having to move whenever his job told him to. And so I'd get dragged away from my friends and stuff, and I'd have to make new friends, and that was rough. And I would say, why are we moving? And they'd say, well, because we have to move. And it's like, well, why doesn't Dad just quit his job then? And it's, well, because we don't have the money. So I learned as a kid that, like, money brings options. And so if you want options in life, you have to learn how to add value to the marketplace through skills that you could acquire, knowledge that you could acquire. But also, once you're acquiring some money, you can use that money to make it do well for you. So what is out there that you can go from no money, no connections to lots of money, lots of connections? Well, mostly real estate. You can do it through stocks. But one of my concerns with stocks is that there's a generation post-World War II. In the U.S., they call it the baby boomers. But it's not just in the U.S., it's worldwide, where after World War II, a lot of people came home, had lots of kids. And so you had a lot of people that were retiring, or not retiring, but working, and they were putting their money into the stock market, which made it grow faster than average. And you're going to have a lot of those baby boomers. They're now pulling those money out of stocks or selling. So you have higher than average selling. So the returns that were possible 40 years ago and 50 years ago aren't possible today in stocks on averages. So I turned to real estate, because real estate, you could go from not a lot of money to a lot of money, but it really takes about 20 to 30 years. In my first cycle, I made 2 mistakes. I made a lot of correct decisions, but I made 2 mistakes. And when the market flipped around, those 2 mistakes brought down everything else, and I actually lost everything, because I then had a divorce on top of it. By the time the divorce was done and that market totally crashed, I was worth negative money. So like literally the poor people on the street were worth more than I was, because I still had about $300,000 in debt and I had no assets left. That wasn't very much fun. And so I was rebuilding from that, and found crypto. And when I found crypto, I was still actually in debt. I still owed some of that money. And what I liked about crypto was that, I was working, I was doing some real estate negotiations for a company and helping them acquire their properties. And I would make a percentage of profitability. And, some months were really good and some months weren't, but every time I had extra money on the side, in addition to, I got remarried and stuff, and so we had some family expenses. It's a lot easier when you're single. You can keep your expenses low and have a lot to invest. I was investing some on the side, and so 2017 was when I found crypto, and it was October, and I managed to scrape together about $15,000 to invest. And it went to about $165,000 before it then went to about $3,000, which was frustrating. And, I didn't take some money out and take profits and put them on the sidelines. A lot of my education came through YouTube videos, and everybody in YouTube was pretty new like me. I mean, some of them had just been in crypto literally a month or 2 prior. Some of them maybe a year and a half prior. But they didn't understand these cycles either, and I was brand new, expecting they kind of knew what they were talking about. So it was a little bit of the case of the blind leading the blind. And so I had to learn a lot of these lessons for myself, unfortunately for me, the hard way. So I found myself in the crypto winter, about $3,000, so I continued to put in more additional money when I had it. Every time I got a bonus for like some really profitable deals and stuff, I would put it in to crypto, and just kept plugging away and didn't spend a lot during that time. I kept my spending to a minimum and invested, like if I got an extra couple $100, I'd put it into crypto. If I got a couple extra $1,000, I'd put it into crypto. Tried to keep my expenses to a minimum, but when you're married, you know how it is. You still have to make sure your wife is taken care of, and because happy wife, happy life, right? So you have to balance out some life things. It was a little bit easier when I was single. But I was single before I started in crypto. So then investing in the bottom of the market. This market, even through March, did tremendous things, and then through now it's done amazing things. And so you'll find if you make pretty good returns this cycle and you take those profits, put them out on the sidelines, my guess is we will have a bear market off this. But remember, this is going to be an elongated cycle. So we don't know exactly how that crypto winter is going to play out, just that parabolic moves are always followed by huge retracements. And if I'm right and the stock market crashes too, cash is going to be king, and your cash is going to go a long ways, as long as they don't just like triple the amount of printing going on. Who knows how that will play out, but even still, cash is still king. Because a lot of times other assets will devalue, and maybe if they do end up printing tons, then Bitcoin will end up being king. But still, I'm looking for I'm making the decision to cash out into stables a lot of my profits and put them into different things that can make a return on it, so that I've got liquidity that I can then throw into things when it gets cheap. Now, if this bull run does go all the way through, say, August, and then it crashes down, well, remember, the bull run last time, or the bear market, was already in full sway by August of 2018. So it does mean this bear market will play out differently than it did last cycle, and we don't know exactly how it'll play out. Just likely that if we have a parabolic move, we're also going to have that huge downside. Okay, I want to take a look at what you're saying. Selling at $14. Matrixist. What are you selling at $14 though? Bitcoin follows stocks, unfortunately. It does. They are tied. They shouldn't be, but they are. And what you see is when high net worth individuals, they sell off their stocks, they also sell off their cryptos. I think at some point they may decouple, that stocks will decline tremendously and cryptos will take off, because they are a different type of asset than stocks, and they haven't been running straight up for 14 years. Now, some of them do have pretty big valuations, and that's true, in a very short amount of time. But like some of them, like Bitcoin, is more like gold than it is, and it's a good replacement for gold. And so it's not so much like a stock. And so there's no reason when the Bitcoin market, or when the stock market crashes, that Bitcoin should crash, other than just people see it as an investment like stocks, and they're trying to get to cash. So they're selling off a bunch of their stocks and their crypto. And so there is some correlation, at least in the short term. Yeah, I did make two big mistakes. They were investment purchases that one went terrible. The builder that built it made some disastrous mistakes that caused all of us who had bought one, it was a rental property, it savaged the value of it in the short term. Although today it's worth probably 4 times what I paid for it back then. In the short term, it savaged the value. I paid like $320,000, $340,000 for it. I put, I think, 10% down, and I rented it out. But it also savaged the rental value of it, because this mistake the builder made and the community looked terrible. And yeah, so it only rented for 1/3 of what it should have rented for. And so month to month, I was bleeding about $4,000 a month cash out. And that's when I had a renter in it. When I didn't have a renter in it, and then instead of letting it go, I chased good money after bad. That was a painful mistake. And I spent 3 years paying on that, bleeding that kind of cash before I finally just let it go. Now, at the time, I had a lot of money that I was making so that I could pay those kind of bills, but I was chasing good money after bad instead of cutting my losses on that. And I should have, but I did have great credit at the time, and I wasn't willing to let that go. And I spent hundreds of $1,000s chasing good money after bad on that one, and it caused the whole ship to sink. So I learned my lesson on that one. Strong lesson. All right. David Porter says, I stake in MELD. I'm a big believer in MELD. MELD has really strong leadership. I think they're going to do amazing things. Really looking forward to what they're going to do. And they're running on Cardano. Cardano's going to come back in the narrative. They're solving some really big problems, and they're going to have some DEXs soon, and then it's going to be usable again, and then the price is going to take off again. I've been through the Cardano swings like 3 separate times, and my favorite one is the one that brought Cardano all the way down to like not $1.50. Brought it down to $0.015. And don't you wish you could rewind time back to then and buy it $0.015? And there were a lot more legitimate fears back then that crypto was going to crash, and yet it didn't. That was like March of 2020. So, time to exit the market, boys. Had fun, made some cash. See y'all in 3.5 years. That's funny. All right, what else is going on? It's all tied to financial liquidity of the world economy. Yeah, there is a lot. Colleen Kennedy says slaughterhouse and sheep. Yeah, I'm not sure what she's referring to. Let's see. I bought ADAX about $1. Now it's 50 cents. Yep, ADAX has gotten savaged. Now, I did try to get the team on to come on the show, and they said they would, and then they all of a sudden didn't get back to me, and I haven't chased them down to have an interview with them. So I don't know what the deal is. with them, and so I have spoken to them some on Telegram in the past. It's been months, so I still have mine. I did take profits when it went way up. I took my initial out, unfortunately, in a tiny bit of profits, but that's all. I still have all, other than that, I still have all mine in. And so I haven't sold it just because you can stake it on X markets, and you can. Sometimes you have to wait till some room frees up on there. But you can either get in the pool that pays you ADAX every Monday or the one that gives you ADA every Monday. I'm in the one that gives you ADA every Monday. And so it's not a bad deal in that it gives you pretty good returns in ADA every week. And so I know ADA has been following too. I imagine both of these will recover at least. I haven't heard what's going on with ADAX. I remember about 3 months ago they had a really cool walkthrough demo of their thing and haven't heard or seen anything since. So maybe they've given up and closed shop. I don't know. This is one of the reasons I took my initial out, is because you just never know how these things will go. Like everything looks good and then all of a sudden it doesn't. But then all of a sudden everything looks bad and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And so I'm just holding my ADAX. I'm definitely not selling it at these lows. It's near the public price of 30 cents. So I'm definitely not selling at that price. But if you look at almost everything that launched back around that time frame, almost everything is close to IDO price. And for me, that's not an exit point. Wish I was in OMI. Most of my money tied up in ADA. Yeah, I love OMI. OMI's going to do some amazing things. You watch. Right team, right leadership, right deals. They make a lot of good decisions. They're very profitable. Now think of how rare this is for a crypto company that you can buy their token right now. How many crypto companies out there that you can buy their token are really profitable and like running on all cylinders? And like that's a OMI. And sure, they still have some growth to do, and they still get some bugs come up now and again, or some things that they get addressed with their VV app, and like drops, sometimes hiccups come up, and they get them addressed and they get them fixed and they keep moving forward. Now I heard that they think I said that they're boring, and so they thought, for some reason, they think that I was talking bad about them. They clearly don't watch this show. I did call them boring. I said I buy when it's boring. I didn't call really the company boring, but the price action of the token was boring, and that's when I like to buy, when like people go to sleep, right? Because a lot of people like to buy the thrilling ride up that when you have lots of green candles. It's not when I like to buy. I like to buy when it's retraced and it's cheap and on sale, or what I would call boring, and that's when I buy. So wasn't calling it OMI boring at all, but clearly they don't watch the channel enough to know that, so I'd advise them to watch the channel. They'll get a feel for it. I do cover them frequently. I don't cover it every day. There are a number of people that do that, like Taps Trades does. I do love his channel. You saw Dr. of Stuff, who did a video that was awesome. He's fantastic. His knowledge level is amazing, and I like the way he processes things. So he came on, did a guest show for us. I think that aired Sunday. So yeah, still informed. I am still informed. I have it staked in on Binance Smart Chain. I moved it off of Ethereum because it was costing me $120 every time I claimed. So I've got a ton in form. And in our Discord group, so if you join the Patreon, you can get access to our closed Discord group. So, but anyway, we talked about that a lot recently in there. I do want to thank all our Patreon members that have joined us and supported us there. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. And it's been fun to interact more directly with you. If you haven't joined the Telegram, you can join that too. And I do pop in there and answer your questions when you tag me. As well as there's some really, really good people in there. So at a minimum, join our Telegram. It's free right now. We will close that off. I've been making a crypto course that's on hold just at the moment, but a crypto course on secrets that'll kind of catch people up that haven't been in crypto all that long. Kind of condensed, targeted information to help you get as much from the 4 years of the things that I've learned, trying to do that over about 8 videos. So when we release that, then you will have to pay for that. If you're already in the Telegram group, you'll get a discounted. You'll be able to get that at a discount. If you're not in the Telegram group, well, the Telegram group will be closed. And so in order to get into the Telegram group, you will have to get that course. And that will allow us to close off those doors so scammers and other bots can't get in, because scammers never front the money to buy a course in order to get in. So I never trade leverage. Good way to get underwater, David, says David Porter. Absolutely true. All right, let me see how we're doing on time frame. Let's see. I'm so used to D being here to check everything for me. Let's see what we're doing. All right, 55 minutes. Well, let me look at a couple of these, answer some questions, then we got to wrap up. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for weathering through these challenges of running this myself. It's been so nice. D does such an amazing job running it. And I'm going to play around with some more use of these screens behind me. I did do a video with a gaming project today that will air later, and we pulled some things up on the big screens with the audio, and it's fun. We're just playing around with some different things that we can do. Trying to make these videos as fun as possible while still giving you lots of substance. So how do we combine the right amount of sugar, meaning the fun part of crypto, with the substance so that you actually can become the most informed audience crypto? I don't know the right balance in that. We're still figuring this out. And we appreciate all of you who have been supporting us as we figure these things out. It's been a lot of fun. I do love interacting with our audience. It makes me so happy that this audience attracts the right type of people that I've been looking for to interact with anyway. People who think things through, people that are here for the right reasons as far as making life-changing gains, but they're patient enough to let it happen. That doesn't mean we don't all have bad days. We do. But I'm really pleased with who is joining this audience. All right, let me see. One more question. BTC dumping. Yep, probably. Thanks for all your useful content. Love to watch it. Also, greets on D-Money. Thank you, guys. Most money is tied up on XRP and ADA. So disappointed. Yeah, it's probably been a really rough 4 months for you. That will turn around. I don't follow XRP that much, but honestly, I do think they'll win their lawsuit. ADA, I expect it's going to moon coming up, and it's when times like get super cheap like this that people panic sell out right before it does then go crazy. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, right before you could, buy when it was pouring like a rain, make it should. Buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic, they dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the gain show. Sinking at this road, cause soon will come a bear market. We're learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start.